Hi, hi.
How are you? Is that Marco?
Yeah, yep.
Great.
I'll change my name first.
Glad you made it.
Okay, so Brand, I think I'll just leave right now and I'll check on the connection problem
Okay.
and also the link and else.
That's great.
Yeah, okay. See you tomorrow.
Yep. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
I hope I'm the host. Let's see. Yep, I am. And you need the ability to present. Do you have the ability to share your screen now, Marco?
I'll have a try.
Yep, down there at the bottom.
Yes, I think I have the ability.
Okay.
Okay, I'll try
Jimmy,
share.
are you there? Can you hear us? Oh, he's muted. There he is.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Are you also on Marco's team?
Yeah, I'm his backup presenter.
Great. Okay. I'm glad to see you here also. It's been a long time, guys. I'm glad to see you up for rehearsal. This is definitely likely to increase your chances of everything working properly.
So before I begin, I would like to, ask some questions about the presentation. Like, will we be allowed to, overrun a little bit? Like, or the timing has to be exactly 15 minutes?
Well, if from my experience with Cycle 2, when I was practicing with them, if I say a little bit, then it's 18 minutes, and then the next person does 20 minutes, and then the next person does 22 minutes. So I think the ground rules will be, I will give you a warning at 15 minutes exactly, right? So if you create a video, like some of the teams are creating a video that's exactly 15 minutes long, and that will work. And then I will, at 15 minutes, I will break into the audio and say 15-minute warning, and then at 16 minutes, I'll just cut it off.
Okay, sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
All right.
So I think I'll start my presentation now.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. So let me open the window. Okay. So can you see the presentation slide? Okay.
Yes, I can.
So I think I'm ready to start.
All right. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're Group 5, and we're here to have our Green City presentation. And our, slogan today is "Show its worth, save the Earth." So first of all, I think I'm sorry about that.
Don't worry about it. Just try to work out these bugs.
I think maybe I have to restart this presentation. Just
okay.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay. Yep, I think it's working now. I'll share the screen again. Sorry about that.
It's okay. You have some noise in your background?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry about that.
Sounds like kitchen dishes.
Yes. Because, my family is doing the washing right now.
I understand.
Okay, so I think I'll start it over again. And
sure.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're Group 5, and we're here to have our Green City presentation. Our slogan today is "Show its worth, save the Earth." Oh, I think I'm sorry about that. I think I have to figure out like how to simultaneously share my screen while keeping the presentation functioning, because when I was doing it,
no problem. Yeah, that's fine, Marcos. I'm glad you're here, and this is why we're here. So don't feel bad. Just try to figure it out, and if you need to, make note of any problems and any solutions that you create.
I'll just have a try.
So it won't let you progress to the next slide? Okay. Is that what's happening?
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, can you see the progression? Yeah.
What did you do? What did you change?
So right now I'm trying to make it happen without opening the full screen. So I'm trying to see if it works again in full screen. If not, I'll just keep it without having this full screen slide. And it seems it works with the full screen right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll have to start again. Sorry about that.
No problem.
So ladies and gentlemen, we're Group 5, and we're here to give our Green City presentation. Our slogan today is Show Its Worth, Save the Earth. So before we begin, we would like to invite you to scan the QR code below to check out our report so that you can catch up our slideshow presentation and have a deeper understanding of our group's vision. So at this stage, we would like to invite the audience and the judges to scan the QR code. And if it works successfully, a report should appear on your cell phone. So would you mind trying it to see if it works properly? I'm sorry.
Yes, it's working successfully. I see your PDF for Group 5.
Yep, thanks a lot. Okay, so I'll continue. Okay, first of all, I would like to introduce you our team. Well, we have Harshit and Rohit from India. They are the video producer and the researcher in this project. And we also have Annabelle and Carmen as the designer and illustrator. Well, me, Marco, and Jimmy are the writer and the narrator, respectively. So before digging into the topic of global warming and the green city, let's take a look at our planet in the past. Well, we used to have crystal clear oceans, and we used to have attractive landscapes. We used to have glamorous mountains and also, blue and white skies. But due to the rapid urbanization, our nature is heavily polluted and our atmosphere is seriously damaged, trapping a lot of greenhouse gases. So what can we do? Well, our team believes that by establishing green cities, a better world would just be around the corner. So let's start digging into our project right now. So first of all, we would like to talk about the criteria of our green city. We believe that there are going to be 6 criteria for a green city, which includes renewable energy, sustainable development, recycling, less sea pollution, nature and biodiversity, and also adequate noise levels. First, let's talk about renewable energy, which includes wind, hydraulic, and solar power. Well, wind power. The principle of wind energy is to use the wind to power the generator. As for the hydraulic power, the principle of it is using the force of water going down the river due to gravitational force to power the generator. And for solar power, its principle is to convert sunlight into electricity to power the generator. So let's first talk about wind energy, like how could we achieve the utilization and implementation of wind energy, and why should we do so? Well, here are our designs. In 2 softwares, City Skylines and also SimCities, our group has designed 2 ways of implementing wind power. One is implementing in rural areas, and another one is implementing in some right next to the urban areas so that we can shorten the distance between the production and the supply points. So let's take a look at its economic benefits. Well, wind energy is currently the lowest priced energy sources available, only 2 to 6 cents per kilowatt hour. Another benefit is that it enables industry growth. Well, the implementation of wind power has an annual economic impact of about 36.1 billion euro on its economy. And also, it excites rural areas' economy. Well, wind power pays landowners $245 million in lease payments every year. Next, let's take a look at its social benefits. Well, obviously, wind power creates more jobs. According to the Wind Vision report, wind power has the potential to support more than 716,000 jobs by 2030. Also, take a look at its environmental benefits, like how is it advantageous to our world and our environment. Well, first of all, it's clean because wind turbines don't produce atmospheric emissions. Second, it can reduce our carbon dioxide emission, as the utilization of wind power can approximately reduce 10 to 11 million tons of carbon dioxide in the future. Also, wind is a domestic source of energy, and its supply is abundant and inexhaustible. Finally, it's sustainable, as you know, wind energy is a renewable energy which can be generated repeatedly. Now, let's take a look at the hydraulic energy. And here are our designs of hydraulic energy in city skylines. We have tried to implement some hydraulic generators inside our cities. For example, some canals, some rivers, and also some of them near the rural areas, which try to excite the local economy. So let's take a look at the environmental benefits. Well, just like wind power, hydropower is fueled by water, so it's definitely a clean fuel source. Also, it is safe as hydropower plants generate power to the grid instantly, even during major electricity outages or disruptions of the city. Hydraulic power won't go out. Also, it is energy saving, as hydraulic power can quickly go from zero power to the maximum output, so there will be the least waste of energy. Now, let's take a look at the solar energy. And we have implemented some solar panels in the software of SimCity. Our application is that we'll try to implement as many solar panels in urban areas as possible, because first of all, it's very portable and it's not bulky in size. So as we can see from this diagram, we have actually tried to implement them near some other power generation centers so that they can be directly delivered to some supply points. Now, take a look at the environmental benefits. Just like the hydraulic and the wind energy, it's clean as it has the least negative impact on the environment compared to any other energy sources. Also, it's quiet because solar energy production does not create any noise, which is the major benefit. And also, it's energy saving, such as having solar panels on the roof or in the yard can significantly reduce distance between the production and supply points, and thus less energy is lost during the transportation. Now, take a look at its economic benefits. Well, solar power could help us lower utility bills. Well, because by installing a home solar system and a battery, residents can better control their average electricity cost over a year. And here are some of the data that we can see how the implementation of solar energy helps lower utility bills, which you can take a look at them in the reports as well. Also, the installation of solar panels helps increase home value. Well, getting a quality system installed on the property can add instant desirability, and the new homeowners' electric bills will be minimal or non-existent, because buyers will be willing to pay an additional $15,000 for a home with the average size solar system, which is referring to 3.6 kilowatts, compared to a similar home without a solar system. Talking about the social benefits, the application of solar power helps improve people's lives. As long as there's sunshine, solar energy can be deployed anywhere. This is particularly useful for remote regions with no access to any other sources of electricity. There's a vast amount of people around the world with no access to electricity. Independent solar systems could be deployed in those regions and improve the lives of millions of people. Also, it creates more jobs. Well, in 2019, jobs in the United States solar industry increased nearly 17 times faster than the overall economy. According to the National Solar Jobs Census, the industry creates more jobs than any other sectors in the US. This growth is expected to continue. Now, let's take a look at sustainable factories. Well, you may ask, what are sustainable factories? Well, before knowing what sustainable factories are, let's take a look at what means by sustainable development. There are four main ideas in the concept of sustainable development, including social cohesion, economic development, environmental conservation, and intergenerational equity. So we have to strike a balance between these 4 sectors. And the reason for the rise of sustainable factories is because of factory pollution, and it is a serious environmental problem as well. First of all, how do these factories pollute the environment? Well, the answers to this question are varied, since the form of contamination depends on the physical and chemical processes carried out by them. The factories are a very varied set of companies that carry out production processes with different types of materials. Some especially toxic, for example, mercury. Others are not directly harmful to humans, but can influence the planet's climate. For example, carbon dioxide. Now, let's take a look at 2 main types of pollutions from factories. First, from chemical factories. The chemical industry is one of the most polluting, uses a wide range of resources such as solid, gaseous, and liquid fuels, limes, salts, purites, plants, and animal products, etc. Since this industry is developed, it is estimated that 100,000 new chemical substances have been produced and disseminated to the environment, which is toxic to living things. And it will cause different health issues such as shorter lifespan, heart diseases, and verbal ability. Now, take a look at the heavy industry. Another contaminant is heavy industry, which refers to the extraction and transformation of raw materials, for example, oil, which uses raw materials as quantities of raw materials that must be decomposed with chemical elements, and which are then used by other industrial sectors. All cycle pollutes the environment. Now, let's take a look at the air pollution caused by factories. Now, there are 50% of the air pollutions are from factories. So if we still don't care about factories, it's too late for us to notify that until our air is seriously polluted. Next, let's take a look at the water pollution caused by factories. Now, industrial pollution accounts for 70% of water pollution, as most of the industrial waste are directly dumped into the water table. Now, also, ozone dangers. The 3rd oxygen atom in ozone could cause serious health problems, such as damaging our lungs, and also environmental problems, such as causing photochemical smog. And these are going to be detrimental to humans and other living creatures on Earth. We would also like to take a look at the negative impacts of animal factory. Well, they are concentrated animal feeding operation, which are known as cattle. Cattle is detrimental in terms of air pollution, produces gases like methane, ammonia, and other that are harmful to health. Water pollution. The animal waste contaminates streams, lakes, oceans with harmful bacteria like E. coli. And also land pollution. The animal waste can seep into the underground water through soil. So, what is a sustainable factory? Well, a sustainable factory is one willing to use all possible means to help the environment, using only sustainable technology, which has 3 objectives, which is recycling, technology, and intelligence. Now, let's talk about recycling. Recycling is the process of converting waste materials into new materials and objects, and recycling is the alternative to conventional waste disposal that can save material and help lower greenhouse gas emissions. Recycling can reduce the consumption of fresh new raw materials and can prevent the waste of potentially useful materials. So our designs in SimCity. Well, in SimCity, our group has allocated lands for the construction of a recycling factory because we all agree that recycling is indisputably paramount to a green city. As its purpose is for conserving the environment, the construction of the recycling factory abides by the principle of protecting the environment while the construction can still run smoothly. Now, let's take a look at the economic benefits. Recycling creates more job opportunities, as according to the US Recycling Economic Information Study, there are over 50,000 recycling establishments that have created over 1 million jobs in the US. Also, it helps save the cost of waste disposal. According to New York City leaders, recycling saves $20 billion per year of US dollars. Also, a study conducted by the Technical University of Denmark, according to the Economist, found that in 83% of the cases, recycling is the most efficient method to dispose household waste. Now, take a look at the environmental benefits. Well, recycling directly helps conserve precious natural resources, such as some known minerals. Recycling is really required for the conservation of meager natural resources. Without mechanisms of recycling, humans can be out of resources one day. Also, recycling helps reduce carbon emissions. Recycling is paramount to the reduction of carbon emissions. By looking into the succinct exemplars of the United States and the United Kingdom, we could know more about it. Such as in the United States, it has successfully reduced the country's carbon emissions by a net 49 million metric tons, while in United Kingdom, it has successfully reduced carbon dioxide emissions by 10 to 15 billion tons per year. Another serious problem is sea pollution. So, what are the pollutions in the sea? Well, pollutions in the sea include rubbish, oil, toilet sewage, and also chemicals. But what means by pollution? Well, pollution is anything that is present or introduced into an environment which causes harm. Another major problem is maritime transport. Well, large ships that cross the sea pollute 3,500 times more than land transports. And according to the European Commission, it estimates that the emissions of air pollutants from ships cause 50,000 premature deaths annually and 60,000 million euros in health costs in the European Union. There are also other plastic objects in the sea which are detrimental to sea marine species, such as plates, bags, glasses, and also bottles. At least 267 species have been entangled in plastics or have ingested plastics. Also, 50% to 80% of sea turtles are found dead by ingesting plastic debris. So, we would like to know, where has our plastic gone? Well, let's take a look at the graph. Today, only 9% of all the plastic we have produced worldwide has been recycled. 12% of them have been incinerated. And the vast majority, 79%, has ended up in landfills or in the middle environment. So, where did the plastic in the ocean come from? Well, 80% of them come from the land, and 20% are due to maritime activities. From the land, there could be landfills, dumping of garbage, effluents from sewage treatment plants and wastewater treatment plants. From the seas, there could be accidental spills from ships. So, plastic distributions in the ocean, well, 15% of them are just the tip of the iceberg. 85% of them are microplastics, especially in the Indian Ocean, Atlantic, and Pacific. So, high concentration of microplastics can be found on the coast and off the coast, especially in regions with high coast pollutions, inadequate waste management systems, intensive fisheries, and high tourism. Another source of sea pollution is going to be the cigarette butts, as they are the largest source of trash in the world's ocean. And we can know more in our reports. There are more detailed researches and evidence. So, what could be the solutions for the problems aforementioned? Well, we believe that by stricter regulations, more recycling bins, enhancing the publicity, and provide incentives, last but not least, encourage scientific research, we can solve these problems. So, I think, I think our presentation is a bit lengthy, right?
Yes. How many more slides do you have?
I think, well, we just have about 10 slides about the last topic of noise pollution. So I think we'll just try to trim it after the rehearsal. It's glad that, you know, we have the opportunity to find out this problem beforehand.
Yep, let's take a quick look through the rest of your slides.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the noise pollution here, like the noise levels, and then why is it important to control the noise level in a green city. And then we also have some, you know, pages just for references if you want to know more about that. Well, they're all listed in the reports as well. And then we still talk about the nature and biodiversity, like how we can actually preserve them, how we can protect them as well, and why is it so important, and how our biodiversity is, you know, now shrinking and being damaged. And finally, how we could do it personally, and also in our city planning, how we, you know, implement these greenery designs into it. And the last recommendations is to implement green roofing, as it's the most convenient way to, you know, personally support the conservation of the environment. So that's all for our presentation, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, good, Marco. I think you did a good job. You definitely need to trim out some slides. Just try to hit the major points. And when you're focusing on details, cut those slides out. I would again practice it a couple more times at home after you've trimmed it down. Obviously, you don't want to talk too quickly because that gets really irritating. When people talk, they're obviously hurrying, then no one enjoys your presentation. So try to maintain a normal pace and remove some of the detail slides so you can just continue at a reasonable pace and go through all your slides in 15 minutes.
Sure.
I think the quality of your slides looks good. You have a lot of good research. You just need to trim it down to avoid detail. Things that you could say, you know, take a look at our report. I think the QR code is a great idea to give people links, but to enable most people to pick up their phone, open their QR scanner, you're going to sacrifice at least 1 minute just for that. So what I would recommend is that you put the QR code at the very end on the last slide, and that you can leave on the screen, you know, for a minute. I think probably that would be okay. But if you do it at the start of your presentation, that will rob you of at least 1 minute.
Thanks for the recommendation.
Sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you do your actual presentation, you want to try to get your family to agree that we'll do washing time state. Or I've lived in Hong Kong flats; they're pretty small, so hard to avoid that kind of noise. But you know, you probably have little brothers and sisters too.
Yep.
And that's always going to be a challenge. The other thing I want to check with you is if I remove the ability to share screen. So now can you share your screen?
No, I'm disabled.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And let's see if I can enable you and only you. I don't see the ability to just, that's what I would like to do, is just enable you only. If I make you a co-host, now do you have the ability to share your slides?
Yes, I have the ability. Yep.
We could use that. Now, we had a meeting last night with the Gruen administrators, and they talked about, for the actual presentation, they want to use a webinar format where we'll have observers, presenters, and the judges at different levels. So that'll be additional complexity. We'll try to test that. I think we should be testing it right now, but we don't have it hooked up yet. So I'll keep you informed as things change. Once I make you the co-host, I guess I'm depending on you not to be, you know, troublemaker. Now, I wonder if I can remove co-hosts. No, yeah, I can withdraw co-host permission. So now you don't have the ability to share, because otherwise you have problems with people sharing when you don't want them to share. So maybe I'll use co-host as a presenter tool for the actual meeting. Okay. Yeah, disable my background. We're talking about they're going to produce backgrounds that are branded with the sponsors. You know how like
yeah.
you know, race car teams have sponsors all over their car. So we're supposed to have these backgrounds that say, you know, HKBU and things like that. So I see you're using a nice mountain sunset, but we need to get that background out to everybody so that you can use that now. I hope it's not too busy, the background, but we'll see how it looks.
Sure.
Jimmy, do you have anything you want to contribute to the discussion? Jimmy, have you fallen asleep?
No, I'm thinking about how to trim down my partner's PowerPoint. For example, I find that some of the information is a bit too not isn't needed for the presentation of Grun as I think, for example, that example of the sound, I find it maybe a little bit too out of the topic, and maybe, and also I've tried the co-host thing, and I find it working, as I've always been disabled of the monitor sharing.
Yes, so if you want to, now you should be able to share your screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can definitely do that if necessary. If Marco, you know, has some technical problem, or his little brother starts screaming like a monkey in the background, then you can take over. So I have kids that scream like monkeys. Nothing personal.
Yeah.
So let's see, withdraw co-host permission. So I think I will go with this technique of not having anybody the ability to share their screen until it's time, and then I'll make them a co-host. That's something I can withdraw. And then there's this other webinar format that we'll have to figure out, and the backgrounds we're going to do. Yep. Now, you got the link from JC. She sent it to you. Is that correct? Is that
yes, I received an email yesterday.
Yes. Right. And it looks like that link that they're using right now changes every time to a new link, which is bad, right? Because then everybody has to have email updated constantly. I couldn't get in when I wanted to. I had to get another email. So we're probably going to switch to a more static link, one that always stays the same. And then they talked about having to admit everybody. I don't think we should use a waiting room either. So I turned off the waiting room. Because otherwise that's an additional thing that I would have to do all the time, is constantly admit people, and I don't want to do that. So anybody can join. No one can present their screen, share their screen, unless I give them co-host capability, and we need a static link. So and then obviously you have some work ahead of you, also with trimming the slides down. Also I wanted to mention that on the credits, Jimmy is listed as narrator. What did he narrate?
We have, made a video before, which is for, submitting the Grun forum before we have a workshop that website requires us. So we're also considering whether to, add that into the slide. But I think we need further discussions with other group mates to see if we can, if we're able to trim down the presentation, because that video is mainly about describing the Grun city we have created. And so it kind of overlaps with our presentation, which I think it's good so that we can, cut off some of the slides of our presentations. So yeah, we are still in discussion whether we should add that to our presentation or not. So, yep.
Okay. Well, you have the option of making a video out of the entire presentation. Obviously, that reduces the pressure on you and the dishes in the background, right? If you make a video with a clean background and it's made to run exactly 15 minutes, then no worries, right? Up to you. Obviously, there's a benefit of having a live person. It feels more, present. But technically, it might be safer to create a video, trim it down to exactly what you want. You could even put in everything and then trim the video itself down, right? And down to 15 minutes and just chop and slice, that way. So you could make a whole video and then have everybody in your group view the video and then talk about which slides you want to cut out. Up to you. You know, it's your call how you want to go. If you want to do a live presentation, great experience, right? That's dealing with pressure, and we want to have Q&A sessions, but I don't know if we're going to have Q&A sessions on the first day of presentations. I think that's going to be on the third day of the conference.
Yeah.
When they're going to kind of interview the top 6 or something like that. So we're still kind of forming this idea of the plan for the conference. Personally, I think better to have some Q&A right after the presentation.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not in charge of running everything here. So we'll see how things develop.
Sure.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns?
I think no. Thanks for devoting your time. Yep.
No problem. Okay. Well, I will keep you informed as we generate new links for the meeting. And you can always send me messages in the Moodle platform. And also you can reply to emails with JC. I think you have my email address as well.
Yeah.
So feel free if you need to ask me a question or, you know, seek advice, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, guys. Well,
Thanks
thank you for coming. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to rehearse, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, we believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck to you. If I don't talk to you
Thanks a
again
lot.
until the conference day, best wishes for your success.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
All right, guys.
Okay. Yep.
Take
See
care.
you. Yep.
On the day.
Bye.
See you.